Wow, what a triduum, huh? There's just so many readings. Sometimes it's hard to figure out how they all fit together, right? At the Mass of the Lord's Supper, we started with a reading from Exodus on the establishment of the Passover meal, the meal of freedom, where the Israelites are free from the Egyptians. Then we move into Paul's record of the institution of the Eucharist. And then we read from the Gospel of John, Jesus washing the feet of his disciples and telling them to do likewise. On Friday, we hear Isaiah saying, "A lamb is led to the slaughter." And then from Hebrews, we read that Jesus is the great high priest. The Passion of John, we have Judas, we have Peter cutting off an ear, we have Pilate asking, "What is truth?" We have Jesus saying to his mother and the beloved disciple his last instructions on earth. At the Vigil, we hear from Genesis, the creation story, Abraham's test, the sacrifice of Isaac. Exodus, we hear about Moses splitting the Red Sea. And Isaiah, we hear about the covenant of Noah since the beginning. We also hear in Isaiah of Jesus inviting us to come to him. "Come to me, all who are thirsty. Come to the water." The prophet Baruch tells us of a call to wisdom, of our need to follow God. Ezekiel tells us of our disobedience and yet God's saving mercy. And in Paul, we realize that we're baptized in death. Sometimes that just feels to me like a box of puzzle pieces. And they're all beautiful in their own right, but how do they all fit together? I really wasn't much into puzzles until I realized it was a great way for me to talk to my grandmother and for us to spend time together. So we would sit, sometimes in silence, looking at the beauty of these pieces and seeing how they all fit together, and then high-five one another when we found how they fit. But anyone who does puzzles knows that puzzles don't really make sense unless you have a map of how it all fits together. Luckily for us, in our readings at the Vigil, at the very height of the Vigil, we have that last piece, that final piece that makes them all fit. We have Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome going to the tomb, and rather than finding the body of Jesus, they find a man, an angel, who says, "Do not be amazed. Go and tell Jesus' disciples and Peter." This is the final piece of the puzzle that makes all the pieces fit together. When our lives feel like a painful collection of puzzle pieces and we're not sure what to do or where they fit, we have to remember that Jesus is the last piece. But Jesus is not only the last piece, but he's also the puzzler. He's the one sitting with us, helping us to put all these pieces together of our lives. So this Easter, let's praise Christ, the risen Christ, for his role in helping us to fit all of our pieces together. Happy Easter.